All right. Right. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from where you join. Welcome to day 11 of Copilot Studio training program. In today's class, specifically, we are going to start our journey with the agent flow. This is a fairly new concept which was introduced in the month of March this year about the overall agent flow. So, what is agent flow? And many times we have lots of confusion that how it is different than the Power Automate, or why should I use the agent flow? What's the reason behind using the agent flow? So, we'll talk about all of those aspects in the detail. So, first of all, we'll talk about what is agent flow. Then we'll compare two products side by side, Power Automate versus Agent Flow. Then specifically the main key part why these two things are a little bit different is its licensing model. So how the licensing is going to work, we'll talk about that thing in detail. And after that, we'll talk about some of the unique actions that are only one unique action is there, which is different in the agent flow. Apart from that, everything is available in the Power Automate is equivalent to your agent flow. And then we'll go with the one simple basic case study. So again, today's class is all about like, okay, whatever Power Automate knowledge that you are having, same knowledge we are going to consume it over here. But only thing is that theoretically or conceptually, this is little bit different. And why Microsoft is recommending to use the agent flow, there are certain reasons around that as well. So we'll talk and go about those all aspects in detail in today's class. Okay, so without further delay, let's get started. And first, let's do a quick revision what we have done in the previous episode, because one thing is in a continuation of that. So we'll talk about that in detail after that. All right. So first of all, let me just head over myself to the stuff that we left last time. So this is the auto PO creation agent that we have started in our previous episode, and that is what we finished as well. And what we did at that time is, whenever I'm entering any kind of prompt that, okay, I want to create this to PO, at the time, what it was doing so many activity like, okay, it was reading the content from here, then it was creating the entry into the SharePoint list, as well as we are having some sort of approval flow. So this was like almost four tool actions we have added at the time that we did, like creating an PO. After that, we were checking. I mean, we are doing the currency conversion rate. We were doing the flow as well, and we were sending an email notification. That was we were doing into the previous class. Now, nothing too much into continuation, but at the time I told you one thing, that when we created that particular flow, at the time in Copilot agent right now, whatever flow you will create it, it will by default create an agent flow. So as a as a technical person, we need to understand what exactly do we mean by agent flow. We created a flow, that is correct, but what type of flow we created and how it is different than the Power Automate. It was exactly same like Power Automate, but what is the minor difference over there? We just need to check on that part. So this is what we created in the last class. Like this is one simple approval agent we created, and it is just like triggering from your Copilot. So in your Copilot agent, we pass two parameters, PO amount and summary. Those parameter we pass, and based on that, we just set up the status that, okay, if it is less than specific amount, 10,000 amount, then we are sending it for the next level of approval. Otherwise, we were just doing auto approve, and we were just sending a response back to our flow. Okay, so this is what we have done in the previous class, and this is what we created. And at that point, we don't know the terminology agent flow, so we are just calling that as a flow. Okay, now let's talk about what is agent flow and how it is different than the Power Automate. And to make it properly do the comparison, let me open up the side by side the Power Automate as well, so you will get a clear understanding around that what is the difference over there. Okay, so fundamentally, let me just tell you this. So generally, whenever you go in any of your environment, like let's say currently I'm in this particular environment, okay, and whenever I'm going to the flow section over here, okay, at the time it will show you over here like a new agent flow option. Okay, and here as well it provide you the option to describe, and based on that it will completely create it out for you. Okay, let me just open up any of my other environment. Maybe if there are no agent flow, it's very easy for you to understand from that. Just give me a minute. I'm just going to the flow section over here. So this section is called as an agent flow in the world of Copilot Studio. So in Copilot Studio, whatever flow option you are seeing here, you can see the name agent flow. Okay. At the same time, if I'm going to the Power Automate part over here, okay, I'm just changing my environment little bit. This is my Power Automate. Okay. In Power Automate, you can, it's standalone different automation product over here. Okay. Now let me just do one thing. Let me just do in this fashion. Let me place one side here like this and one side this. Okay, so this is our agent flow and this is our Power Automate flow. Okay, now the very first thing is there in agent flow, they have provided a functionality that if you write up into any natural language, it will create the basic flow template or basic flow structure automatically for you. Same way in the Power Automate as well, they are having the exact same thing. When you describe something into detail over here, it will generate the base template for you. So AI based capability available at the both the places. Okay. Now let me tell you in a simple language. I don't want to too much complicate this topic. Okay. If as a technical person, if I'm looking at this two product, I can say right now, agent flow equals to Power Automate plus some more AI capability on top of that. Okay, right now with the features that they have rolled out, based on that I can see this particular simple statement. Agent flow is nothing but same like your Power Automate, plus it has some additional capability. Only difference is come up into picture when licensing part is coming into the nature, and why they have separate this out. There are some solid specific reason around that as well, which I'm going to talk about in a while. But let's just look at the product services behind the scene. The even engine is the same, even the interface is the same, even the way you are creating your flow, exact same methodology is used to create your agent flow as well. Okay, now let's try to explore this in depth over here. So first of all, let me just talk about this thing. So whenever you are seeing this generative AI description box, okay, both the places is available. Let's say for an example, sometimes you have a scenario where, let's say you have a need that you want to create some sort of approval flow, or maybe you want to build some sort of ticket management system where depending on when anyone in your organization is supporting any ticket via SharePoint, you just want to categorize it into high, low, and medium category, and based on that, you want to transfer it to appropriate department. Let's say if you have this kind of requirement, and based on that, you want to change your status for your SharePoint list as well. Okay, let's say if you have this kind of requirement. Now, generally, whenever I'm doing my Power Automate training program, generally I don't tell people when you are learning, don't use this kind of AI feature, because that is something which is reducing your capability to understand how actually the Power Automate works, or what are the things which is available natively. Because when you start typing the prompt, it will automatically create, and you will not realize sometimes that what exactly it did. Okay, but here at this point, because at Copilot stage level, we all, I'm already assuming that everyone is knowing about the Power Automate in a well fashion. So we will use some sort of prompts over here to generate this thing out. Okay, and here I'm writing one prompt over here that when someone submit the SharePoint request as a part of IT support ticket based on the priority of high, medium, and low, transfer the ticket to appropriate person. Also, at the end, update the ticket status according to the scenario. Okay, I'm just want this kind of prompt, and what I'm doing here is I'm pasting the same prompt over here as well. Okay, same prompt at the both the places I'm placing at the same time. Okay, and now let's hit enter at the both the places and see what it come up with. Okay. All right, so here I am, and you can see that it created exact same to same thing. There is nothing different in any one of this. Only thing is that their UI is slightly different. Here they have this kind of mechanism which is matching to the Copilot Studio theme button color, and here it's like this bluish color which is matching the Power Automate theme. Okay, but even behind the scene engine is the same. Even you see, whenever when you have written the same prompt to the both the places, if engine is different, it should generate the different stuff for you, but it generated exact same to same thing for you automatically here. That okay, first will be when item is created, then okay, this is what would be your condition looks like, and there is a button keep it and continue. And it created two versions as well. So it created second version as well, which is more detailed version, that it has some condition and all. And same way, if you look at here as well, it has the detailed version over here. Okay, you can tweak your Copilot agent again to tweak your flow the way you want. Okay, but I'm not more interested into this feature. But why I'm explaining you this is behind the scene engine is the same. It's just a new name for the same product, but ultimately it's doing the exact same thing at the both the places. Okay, so now when you click on keep and continue over here, it will just ask you the connection, and it will create the flow for you. And same way here as well, when you do the stuff, keep and continue and create a flow, basically it will create a flow for you over here. Okay, depending on what version you have selected, and you can able to see here. Okay, and again, when you look at inside this, it is exactly same like your Power Automate. Let me just make this screen bigger now so you can just feel it. This is the exact same like your Power Automate, nothing wrong, exact same funda, exact same formula, everything is same. Okay, where they have created minor tweaks, let me just tell you. So this is my Copilot agent, and right now you can see on the top there are three sections, four sections over here: overview, designer, activity, and analytics. Okay, while if you look at the Power Automate specifically, there is no such thing. It's just a matter that you need to go back. But here that switching is little bit easier that they have make it. Okay, but again, flow run and everything, every concept is actually same. So when you click on save draft, it will just save it out. And again, the thing is that here you don't need to go back and come back. That's what they did as an improvement. So let's see, if I'm here, if I'm just going to the overview, it will just show me the flow detail and flow run like this. And if I'm just going to the designer, I can straight away start able to edit my flow. Activity, where I can check the activity of my flow. And analytics, where I can see the analytics of the my flow. So this is what they have changed just slightly a little bit different into Copilot Studio. But if you look at this particular Power Automate, if you just save anything over here, you just need to go back and come back in order to open that up. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I mean, if whenever you do anything over here, and whenever you look at the any flow run history or something, you always need to go back. You need to open your flow. And again, like this is what we just created. Okay, so this is how it looks like here you can see the flow details. If you want to see the analytics, you need to go here. Okay, and if you want to change anything, it will be available over here. Okay, so this is what it is showing you at this point like this. Okay, now remember one thing here, like even in the Power Automate right now, if you start creating any flow with the prompt, if you have observed here one thing over here, it uses the Copilot Studio plan. Okay, now this is where the main difference come up into picture, that what plan your flow or your agentic flow is using to execute or run your flow. Okay, so if you recall even our licensing class earlier, we have seen this particular table. right? Like how much consumption it is done by when you are calling any classic answer or generative answer. At the time I told you agent flow is something I didn't cover at that time. And at the time we have seen that per 100 action agent flow is consuming 13 messages from your overall billing rate. Okay, so when you call, when any particular flow is running with the Copilot Studio licenses, it will not require any kind of Power Automate license. Generally, in the world of Power Automate, we are having Power Automate per flow license or Power Automate premium license. These are the two licenses are available at the Power Automate level. But wherever this particular plan was selected, like Copilot Studio plan, at the time it will not consume your Power Automate license. It will consume your Copilot Studio license. Someone's mic is on. Make sure your mic is turned off, please. Okay. And then next part is again, that is the main difference. Okay. Now the question arises that can I change this license type somehow over here? Like I don't want my flow to be run specifically in the context of Copilot Studio plan. I want to change it. How can I change it? Okay. Or it works both vice versa. Okay, so now let me just show you over here. Okay, and again let me just tell you one more thing over here, that whatever flow you will create here, like this is the flow that we created within the Copilot agent. Okay, that flow will be available over here as well, guys. Okay, so right now you can see that this agent flow is something, this is having the exact same name, and this is what we just created from the Copilot agent, but it still appear over here underneath my flow section as well. So whatever you will create into agent flow, it will appear into your Power Automate side as well. Okay, now let me just show you one thing here. Like let's see if I'm in my Power Automate over here. Okay, and in Power Automate, again this concept is occupy mostly for the solution flow only. If your flow is not in the solution, you will not be able to change the plan if required. Okay, so let me just talk about that thing over here for a moment. Okay, so let's say for an example, I'm just going to the my flow section over here. Okay, and let me just open up this particular flow over here. Okay, and when you open this thing out over here, okay, like this is one of the flow I do have. Okay, and this flow was in one of the solution. Now what happened here is, in the world of Power Automate, let's say if you have created any existing flow and if you think that, okay, I don't want to consume any license of Power Automate for that, at the time you can change that plan to the Copilot Studio. And when you make it, what happen here is it will consume your Copilot message pack in order to execute even your Power Automate flow. Okay, now the question arises that, and let me just open up any of one of my other environment which I'm having right now over here. And let me just open up any random flow that we are having for any of our Power Apps project or any of our other projects that we have built upon. Okay, and let me just open up any of our solution. Okay, so let me just go to the solution and let me see if I'm having anything over here. So let's say this is what I have as one of my app. Okay, and here I just build couple of flows for myself as a part of my project. I'm going to the cloud flow section, and this is one cloud flow I do have over here. Let me just go and edit this thing out. If I'm just going back here, so here you can see that if you want to run this flow with the Copilot Studio, you can have that option available for you. Okay, so any flow right now, just imagine in simple word, any flow in the current Power Automate that you have created. And if you want that flow to be run with the help of Copilot Studio license, there is always a switch available. So you can convert any of your existing cloud flow to agent flow using by just changing this uh, plan type over here. Okay. Now, let me tell you whether we should do this or not, or why they come up with this specific concept, because they come up with this concept, but I mean, behind every action, there should be some sort of reason in order to do this particular activity, right? So, why these overall things are happening? Let me just tell you that backstory around that as well, why they introduced this as a separate product. Okay, generally, Power Platform licensing is a little bit complicated. Like it is having different combination and permutation. Like let's say if you are using Power Apps, if you are using Power Automate, then it is having different licensing. If you are using Dynamics 365, it is having the different licensing, right? Now, they have targeted this agent flow is specifically the more citizen developer, that more and more citizen people can use this particular agent flow. And specifically this Copilot Studio is again completely low code solution, right? Now, the thing is that people have started adopting and building the agent from scratch over here. Okay, they started building the agent, they started connecting to the Power Automate and all. Now, where they have received a lots of feedback and complaint is why Copilot Studio is standalone, not as a good product. Like why we need to go now with the separate licensing of the Power Automate, right? Because Power Automate integration is very, very necessary for most of the scenarios in the Copilot Studio. Whichever agent you build, many times there is a need of connecting Power Automate, and not every organization is are having the Power Automate license. Just imagine some organizations only want to build the agent, they don't use any other Power Platform component for themselves, right? And that's the reason why they have renamed this whole product as well, like a Copilot Studio. Earlier it was called as a Power Virtual Agent. So power. When you think it's all about Power Platform, and at the time it was more related with your Power Automate as well. So they come up with a solution that okay, if we are selling this costly product to the customer, then why don't we come up with some sort of solution where whatever flow that people will build over here, let's revamp that as an agent flow. So whatever you build here is the agent flow, no matter it's a standard connector or premium connector or whatnot. Because in Power Automate, that is the complexity, that if you are using standard connector, then you don't require license, it come up with your E3. If you are using premium connector, you require a license, and it will require, the premium license for yourself. And those are too much complicated for the person who is completely new and completely only building the agent. So that's why they come up with a solution that okay, if you are building an agent, you don't need to worry about anything over here. You just buy our message pack license, that's it. And whatever flow and whatever thing you will build it over here, it will consume from your messages. So when you build one agent flow or one Power Automate flow from this particular portal, it will consume, when it run in the run mode, it will consume 13 messages from your 25,000 top capacity. Okay, so that's the simple solution they come up with, and for that you don't require any particular license. Okay, now the question arises that should I need to there is a need that I need to convert my existing Power Automate with Copilot agent flow? I would say no. At this point, at least no, don't do that. Why I'm saying is Power Automate overall licensing is much cheaper than this agent flow. This what Copilot Studio as a message capacity is offering. Okay, I would personally say if your organization is already having the Power Automate licenses, there is no necessary need to change it out with the Copilot Studio message pack license. It just, overburden on your existing license. I would say if you are having already Power Automate, just utilize that, create a flow over there. Okay. But let's say for an example, what Microsoft is recommending is also in a future as well, there is a scope. I mean, the switching is not that hard. I just show you the switch. Let's say currently if you are creating in the Power Automate, in future you feel that okay, I want to switch it to agent, it's just one switch, you just need to change your plan and that's it, everything is changed. But now what they have enforced at this point in today's date, whichever thing in agent, whatever you will call, if you start your journey from here, by default, it will use the Copilot agent license. I mean, it will consume from your message pack capacity. Okay. And now let me just do one thing. Let me just go back over here and let me just open any one of the flow which we are having over here. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm just clicking here, open agent flow. So this is what it's showing me as a agent flow that we created again in the previous class. Okay. And over here, you can able to see that there is particular license is being consumed over here, which is Copilot Studio license. Okay. Now remember one thing here, that if you are someone who has created something in your agent flow over here, okay, although it is available as a part of your Power Automate as well, but here there is no such switch that okay, now if your mind is saying that okay, I want to convert this to convert it back to my Power Automate flow, then no, there is no switch. If you are someone who has created something from scratch completely over here, okay, so let's say for an example, recently, if you just open this up over here, okay, this is what we just added as a prompt. Okay, so right now you can see here there is no such switch. Okay, but at the same time, if you open the same thing with your Power Automate portal, okay, let me just open that for you. I'm going to the my flow section and I'm opening the exact same flow that we are having there. Let me open the exact same environment, 23. And I'm just going here. Okay, and this is what it was. I'm just clicking on this and I'm opening over here the plan, click on edit. Okay, and there is no back switch over here. Okay, why it doesn't has the back switch? It doesn't has a back switch because you started your journey for creating an agent from here. So whatever you are creating here within your Copilot Studio interface with the agent flow, by default, it will choose only the Copilot agent licensing. It will not consume anything from your Power Automate license by default. Okay, and there is no switch over here that you can change it to your Power Automate. And again, like it doesn't make sense as well, right? Because why you have created here? Because probably you need something for your agent over here. Then you are starting your journey over here, right? Otherwise, you should start your journey from your this place itself, like your Power Automate side itself. Okay, because if you start your journey from here and if you are having any solution flow at that time, at least there is an option that if you want to switch to your Copilot Studio message pack, you can switch it out. Okay, but again, like agent flow to Microsoft Power Automate, that's not possible, but flow to Copilot agent one, which is possible. So in short, agent flow to Power Automate, no, but Power Automate to agent flow, yes. Okay, simple. Now, why they come up with this and all these things I talk about. Okay, now the question arises that okay, it come up with this a new particular product over here, but does it mean they come up with some amazing functionality over here which is absolutely not available in the Power Automate? So now let me just give you that particular answer. Okay, so number one is again, this GenAI capability is available at the both the places. Okay. Now when you click on new agent flow from scratch, so here I'm on the Copilot agent. Okay. And meantime, I'm doing both the side by side. So you will clearly able to feel both the product side by side. Okay. Just give me a minute. Just open one incorrect one. This is my Power Automate. And this is my this one. Let me just duplicate this tab here quickly. Let me just make it separately. Side this and this side this. Okay, and we are here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm starting from the scratch here. continue without saying. So far, we just look at the GenAI capability. I'm not too big fan of GenAI anyway for creating a flow, or maybe it's your agent flow. But let's click on new agent flow over here, and let's click on new flow, automated flow over here, or maybe any instant cloud flow. You can just skip it, and this is how you are starting your journey with creating a flow. Okay, so exit same interface you can see here, like trigger, you can add any trigger if you want. Okay, now let's say for an example, now let's look at the conceptually, like what else you can do it out for yourself. So here I'm just doing manual trigger over here, and here as well I'm doing manual trigger. So it just added manual trigger for me over here. Okay, and both the flows are now manually trigger flow. Okay, now if I explain you about the conceptual thing about what is the difference between these two things, let me just tell you. Both are having all the possible functionality over here. You can see I'm just scrolling this down over here, and if I'm scrolling this down over here, everything is same, nothing is different. Okay, functionality wise as well, every action is available in the both the product. Okay, few things are little bit different over here, and I believe probably moving forward in the future it will available in the both the product itself. Only one action I find which is little bit different, which is this particular action called AI capability action. Okay, if you look at this AI capability action, currently what Microsoft is doing is specifically they are making some more and more actions for the AI capability. Okay, but again, this is not even stable at this point. Okay, let me tell you, this entire agent flow, it is available right now, but some AI based action, I'm talking about action inside the flow. Okay, they are still not stable. They are still taking lots of time in order to execution, sometimes even not, they are working as expected. Okay, we will see in the demo itself, because in today's demo itself, when we use one action which is completely new into Copilot Studio, which is not in the Power Automate, when we run that, it is taking around 10 minutes to just execute that action, which is non-bearable. And again, there is no guarantee that it will always be success, because they consider that as a preview action at this point. Okay, now let me just talk about that over here. So this AI capability they have introduced in both the places. I'm clicking on see all option on the both, and again, most of the AI builder actions are there. Okay, everywhere it's same again, your Power Automate. Okay, only this action is different at this point on 30th of July 2025. Not sure in future what they come up into next level, but this advance approval is the only action out of like 1400 plus connector and 10,000 plus action in the Power Automate. Everything is same, only this is what which is different, which is right now only available in the agent flow. And again, it's not even stable at this point. It is still in the preview. Even if you are looking at its official documentation, where you will be able to see, able to understand more about it. But today, at least we will learn that what is this advanced approval action, which is on why it is only be here and not here. But we'll see that in detail. Apart from that, everything is same. Okay, but this is what I just wanted to explain, because it's required, because when we heard this type of words in the market like agent flow come up something new. So it's not new, it's same, exact same like your Power Automate. They just change two things: licensing, and second thing what they change is a few actions. Right now only one action in today's date. Maybe in the future they come up with some more specific to agent flow, then it's a different story. So that's why I'm saying that right now in today's date on 30th of July 2025, it doesn't make any sense to convert your existing Power Automate. If I'm already having the license for Power Automate, somehow I convert it into agent flow, because I'm not getting any benefit from it. Because although it's a different story, if I don't have somehow like my uh, Power Automate license, and maybe I want to build an agent, and at that time if I'm creating an agent flow, that's a different story. Okay, but generally nowadays what happen here is, most of the time when we are working with the Copilot agent like trigger, right? Trigger is nothing but ultimately your agent flow, right? So in that situation, that is the necessary thing, like couple of functionality when we are trying to achieve. Okay, we just need to go with the agent flow. So in which scenario we should use agent flow versus which scenario we should use Power Automate? Now let me just make a clear comparison over here. Okay, so generally very simple funda. If you are creating a co-pilot agent for yourself, okay, at the time make sure everything is with agent flow, because those all the things are interrelated with each other. Because in Copilot agent, right, we learn the different concept that where we have the trigger concept. So trigger is something which behind the scene is creating your flow, and that flow is called as an agent flow. Okay, so by default it will consume that license. Without that you will not be able to even achieve that thing. So simple. When you have Copilot agent creation process, and at the time whatever customization you are doing, do it everything with the agent flow. Because when you are doing Copilot agent, at that time obviously you have the license and you have the message pack capacity, so it's no harm of using that particular function. Okay, but second case, like, does it mean that Power Automate is obsolete in this generation? No, that's not the case. Okay, Power Automate is still as a product is available, which is very strong and very stable at this point compared to this Copilot agent flow. Behind the scene engine is, again I'm saying, is same. Again, the licensing for Power Automate is much cheaper than this Copilot one. Okay, second thing is that any automation that you are doing right now, if I'm thinking that, okay, I want to do some email notification, or maybe I want to do some sort of complex automation, like approval and so much other things, right? I would like to go with the only Power Automate route if there is no agent concept is there in my project. Okay, so wherever there is no agent concept and whatever process automation you want to do it, always use Power Automate at this point. Don't need to convert in necessarily to in the agent flow, until and unless if you are having a use case like, okay, if you are already having some Power Apps, already having some Power Automate, and now your customer is saying to you that, okay, Dhruvin, now we want to implement the agent flow on top of that, and you already having the existing logic. Now you want to make one more user interface to insect the AI into your project. And let's say if you build an agent over there and somehow you want to utilize your existing flow, maybe in this situation you can convert your existing cloud-based flow to the agent flow. Okay, but otherwise I would not recommend to uh, utilize this particular approach. But and again, like feature wise as well, as I said, only one action, and again that action is not even stable in today's state. Then why to convert it? There is no need. The question itself is obsolete, but people are having this question many times, that is it different, is it same, uh, where the difference come up into picture. So this is where the difference come up into picture. Only one action and licensing, that's it. Apart from that, there is zero difference in terms of product. Okay, so this is all about the where the difference of Power Automate versus agent flow come up into picture. Now, apart from that, whatever you learn in the Power Automate, same theory, same practical will be applied over here in type of agent flow for yourself. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, what we are going to do is, in today's class, we are going to definitely use some sort of, that one action that I've shown you, like, which is quite different than your normal Power Automate. So what is that action and what you can achieve with that? And what are the other things you can do it with some sort of agent flow? We will talk about that. And some things we want to reutilize for ourselves that we already have as a part of our prompt or things into our Copilot agent. How we can do that, we'll try to explore those things over here for ourselves. Okay, but before that, what I'm doing here is I would like to pause here for a moment, because again, Power Automate and Copilot agent, again, flow is the whatever flow we created so far in Copilot Studio class. It's all at the agent flow. Now you know the actual word agent flow. Okay, now I would like to pause here for a moment. I would like to open the stage for Q&A, and then we will go to the next part of the actual use cases, so you will get a more better understanding around that. Okay, I can see first raise hand from Anand. You have a question?
Yeah, hi Dhruvin. Dhruvin, so in my case, I'm working in a project. So there are n number of already Power Automate Cloud Flow. and now the client wants like some Copilot agents to be done. So how can we recommend them that we should not call Power Automate directly and use agent flow, or how can we integrate that thing?
You don't need to convince them for anything. I mean, if you are already having your existing flow built in, then utilize those flow. You already have the action available in your agent that you can call your Power Automate flow from Copilot Studio itself. So again, this answer is depending on so many parameters, like how much existing investment you have already done on your Power Automate, right? If your organization already having the Power Automate licenses at this point available, then I would say that copy that flow. If you just want to change a trigger, because in any agent that we built so far, you always connect, no matter it's a topic or it's any other thing, you always have a capability to do this thing. Just a minute, let me just quickly open that thing.
Yeah, meanwhile you open. My question is like already we have Power Automate licenses. Okay. Now, if I integrate using a agent flow, then it will be messages. And if I integrate by direct calling a Power Automate flow, then it will be Power Automate license, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, show me the thing what you were showing.
That's correct. So I mean, I would say like when you are integrating your uh, Power Automate with the agent, obviously you need to do the modification. It will, because Power Automate flow, when you created in your application, maybe the first trigger was different over there. While if you want to call it from your agent, you need to make your trigger as a change. And when you make the trigger change, specifically there are two ways. You are you want to utilize the existing one, or you just want to utilize the one that you are already having for yourself. So when you go to the tools option over here, and when you try to add any particular tool over here at this point, and when you go to the flow section, basically it is showing you all the agent flow that you have built it for yourself. Okay, but when you want to call any of your existing Power Automate over here, always you need to utilize in some sort of topics over there, or there is a need where you are calling that particular Power Automate for yourself over there. Because by default, if you just want to consider as a tool over here, like if I'm going to the tool section, and if you want to add as a tool, there are only this much of options available, like prompt agent flow. So at that time, if you want that generative orchestration is enabled, and based on your instruction, it should call that particular stuff. At that time, agent flow is a must even in the Copilot Studio world. But there is some situation where, let's say, ticket is generated, and after that, if you just want to provide them a ticket number for their stuff, and you are already having any kind of topics or anything over there, then obviously you can just go to your topic section, and over there is a capability. Let's say this is your topic, and now if you want to trigger any of your existing Power Automate with that license, you always have an option add a tool. And over here there is an option to, even it will show you the flow that you are already existing with your environment, and you will be able to connect those flows as well over here. Okay, so this is how like a run a flow, or, and again, like many different options are available over here. But with respect to tool is something you can connect only agent flow at this point. Okay.
So no, for what will be a smart thing means like let's suppose I have an unlimited license for the Copilot also M365 license. Okay, this doesn't apply for the M365. It will be 13 messages anyhow.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So the smart as of now will be using the Power Automate call, because the Power Automate also I have a license, and here I will be just calling it so that it will not be get cut by the messages.
Yes.
Yeah, got
And
it.
again,
Yeah.
it's depend scenario to scenario, Anand. Again, okay, it's not always the case. Like if you are connecting as a tool doesn't support the Power Automate. So when you add a tool as a here, and when you are providing the instruction over here, so this instruction doesn't support Power Automate. It supports the different tools. So use a tool. So what would be a tool? Because when you go to the tool, there is no option at this
Agent
point
flow.
to convert.
It will be only
Yes.
agent flow.
So yes. Yes, it will be only the agent flow. It's just a matter come up into picture when you are calling it something from your topic. You created a topic from topic. You are calling something and doing some
Yeah.
stuff over there. At the time, that integration uh, mainly come up into picture.
So in short, I think so that means like if my organization doesn't have Power Automate as a license, then I don't have any option and I have to go to with tools only.
Yes,
Correct?
that's
But
correct.
if I have,
That's
then I
correct.
can integrate in
That
action
is
as
that.
in
Yeah,
topic.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. And I would always say, like, particularly, that's the reason why I say, like, when you have Copilot agent, don't use too much of your mind. Utilize the agent flow. I mean, the thing is that, everything within your same interface. I mean, I'm not sure about the future predictability that how they are going to change this thing into the future, or maybe in future there is only centralized product available across all the platform. But the situation that we are having right now, I didn't see any logic behind converting any existing Power Automate with agent, and any agent flow can be reutilized somehow in your existing Power Automate logic copy pasted, but not like end to end it's utilized. So I mean, according to me, it's not the valid scenario or valid case. So simply like building Copilot agent, don't think too much. Call everything over here itself. Sometimes in, as I said, like in Power Automate, like I will show you some one that feature like multi-step approval. It's not. I mean, I'm not big fan of it, but I'm still going to show you because it's a new. If I need to utilize those couple of things, or maybe in the future they come up with some more action which is only to the agent flow. At that time, it will make sense to convert your existing cloud flow into the agent flow. Apart from that, no, makes sense.
Understood. Understood.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. I can see Reason from Vikas. You have question.
Hi, Rubin. I will just give you one simple scenario. A product is there, whole solution is there, and that is on a click of a button from Power Apps. The flow runs, and the Power Apps just gives one parameter, which is a order number. Okay, and the whole flow runs. That flow generates a PDF, send it to the end customer. So the flow is that. Now, in I want to enhance the service and the Copilot, I have built up an agent. Okay. And in that, I'm asking the order number. Agent types the order number. I want to consume the same flow.
You
How we
want to
can do it?
consume. You want to consume the same flow, okay? You just need to convert your flow to the sub flow in that situation. You just need to centralize that logic somehow so that
Okay.
it will
Child flow.
work from your existing power flow as well as from here itself. Convert a subflow and then call that subflow from your agent flow, basically.
Okay. Yeah. S- So when you say subflow, the child, parent child.
Child flow, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because somehow you want to reutilize that, right? That's the main
Yeah. Yeah.
purpose of you are
Yeah.
having.
Because, yeah. So what I'm seeing, the only difference is Power App is giving one order number as a one single variable, and where uh, your chat agent can type that number, and that
Yes.
can be just, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So whatever your current logic is, it will be like your sub flow already. On top of that, you
Mm.
can build one parent where it passes that to the child flow. And same way, you can call the same. I mean, over here, what you can do is, uh, you can just use the agent flow over here, and agent flow is something which is picking the message from your chat message and pass it to your uh,
Yeah.
flow, and it will pass to your subflow, and that's how that same flow
Yeah.
can be work at the both the places for you.
So the last confusion, which is the first flow, is the licensing is working on Power Automate flow. Once I have converted it, okay, my licensing will be for that flow will be on Power Automate only. Correct?
That's correct. 100% correct. Yes.
Thank you. So
I can. Yeah.
even we will be triggering as an a flow from the agent It will not consume the agent flow license 13 message.
So it will consume as a one thing. Like, okay, what you are doing here is when you type the product number over here, it is calling
Yes.
your parent flow. It consume your
Yeah.
13 message already because I mean,
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, yes, that's fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's tricky.
very complicated. Yeah, it's tricky and complicated as well. I mean, I'm like, okay, when agent flow is introduced, I was like, okay, something really great come up. But when we explore that out and see, ultimately it's same. It's just a matter that one more confusion layer they created by introducing this basically. That's it.
But confusion matter is just
But
end customer how to bill him
yes,
extra.
yeah, exactly. So people who are like purely from the pro background, I mean, for us, like, okay, I'm like using Power Automate since here, and suddenly this come up. So it's okay. People who are, I'm not sure, like any organization only using agent. That's not the case in today's business scenario. I haven't seen any customer who is just telling me to build a Copilot agent. Already they are in Power Platform. On top of that, they come up with agent. That's a different story. But so far, I want to hear from anyone else. Like, do you guys come across this scenario? Like, someone just came with you to build an agent. I mean, it's rare to hear. I mean, I haven't heard anything.
No, customers are not even aware of that there is
Yes.
a Copilot
Yeah.
studio. There's
Okay.
nothing. So agent,
Mm.
we are very far. And that is
Yes.
nice to, and actually in one case, I will say this is nice to have a functionality, not the core functionality where businesses are funding the processes.
Correct. Correct. Right. But yeah, again, it's a powerful feature. So obviously, I just have that gut feeling from here that maybe in the future, Power Automate will upsell it, and this will become the primary source of
So,
automation maybe in the future.
and just to add as a co-pilot thing, a big success which I will say when I introduce just a demo to and one of the customer, nothing. They have lots of rule books lying here and there, and that on a SharePoint I just connected, and they were wow to see that something can be done this way, because people were for a specific technical documentation they don't know where the documents are. Now the
Yes,
documents are there. They open one chat box and then they start typing and they started. So that is the place where a big win and customer when you ask building a co-pilot with a agentic AI and all those things, I think so
right.
we are very far.
That's correct. And even it's not stable at this point, I'd say it will take another 1 year or 1.5 year to become this product as well stable. So it's better to keep an eye on that. So when it starts booming, at least you have that skill set with you to make those changes with you, basically. Yeah. All right. I can see raise hand from Rashmi.
Yeah, hi Dhruvin.
Yes.
My question is there that no matter that how much integration we are doing in the flow, it will consume 13 messages only. I mean, like it will be the simple flow or it is complicated flow, it will consume 13 messages only.
Okay. Here is action. Here is a star as well to your question. 100 action. Okay. Your flow should have 100 action. Then it will consume the 13 messages. If your flow, I don't think so any flow will, I mean, if it is 100 more than 100 action, it's a too lengthy flow. But if it is more than 100, then it will consume double. So 13 multiply by 2, which means you're 26 for 200 action. If you are having the flow with 300 action, it will consume like 13 multiply by 3, 39 messages. Okay, so per 100 action, it uses 13 messages.
Okay. Thank you. Got it.
All right.
And how about less actions?
No, no less. I mean, you call the flow.
0 to 100, it is 13.
Yes. I mean,
0 to 100.
if you are having only one action in your flow or two action in your flow, it will consume this one. Okay, 13 message by default when you call it out one time. Okay, but let's say if you are having 100 and maybe if you are in 105, it will consume 26. So it's not like if you are having less, it will be less. by default consumes 13, no matter how big or small your flow is. Okay. All right. Anyone else has any other question before we move forward? Okay, I do not see any more raised hand at this point. Okay, so now let's explore the new actions, because already power it's not make sense to do the more power automate into the Copilot Studio classes, because power automate most of you are aware about. So it's better to learn something new which is totally new into the Copilot I mean agent flow only, not in the power automate. So it's better to see some use cases around that. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, first of all, let me just showcase you the use case that what we are going to accomplish here. So uh, we are just going to use one Dataverse table where we have a requirement for critical medical equipment order. So generally, this is one hospital where it's they are working on patient to patient basis, and emergency can be happen at any point of time in the hospital or medical institution. At the time, they just need to order lots of things into the bulk, and they require certain set of approval for that. Okay, now this particular medical institution have a certain set of requirement which they want to automate, where they wanted to utilize some sort of functionality that, okay, their interface is still their existing Dataverse or model driven application. The peoples are requesting from still that model driven form, and behind the scene entry is created into Dataverse table. So Dataverse table item creation is the entry point for this overall process. As soon as any new record is created over there, they need the automation that, okay, your automation can able to understand the, let's say for an example, what is the urgency for that purchase, because they need to provide a business justification for that, that why they need that particular product. Let's say I'm ordering 20 ventilators, but am I ordering just for my own purpose, or maybe there is a solid reason that, okay, we are having the more patients coming throughout the heart for this year, and the COVID patient numbers are increasing, and to survive that need, we need that urgently or something. We need to understand that context, right? And based on that, we need to make some decision that, okay, if the urgency is there, then only it should make that process faster, and it should go to the next approval faster, and do the whole automation for us. Or maybe somehow, if we want to understand the context or criticality of the problem, how can we do, or how can we solve this problem? Again, they are having the multi-level approval. So let's say for an example, if the purchase amount is less than 10,000, then we don't need to go for any approval, it's just auto approved. But let's say if the amount is more than 10,000, then of course it requires two level of approval. Okay, how can we handle this type of things with the help of agent flow inside the uh, Copilot Studio? Let's have a look around it. There are multiple ways to solve the problem. Okay, you can create an agent, you can add a trigger when an item is created into Dataverse, you can add a simple tool of prompt that will understand the context, you can provide the instruction in your agent and then execute some sort of logic. The multiple ways to solve it, but here I'm intentionally taking the power automate or agent flow as a concept over here, so that I can cover up that action that I'm just talking about, which is very unique action inside the Copilot agent world only. Okay, so let's get start with this particular use case. And for that, what I'm doing here is I'm just going into this environment, batch 23 dev environment. Okay, now remember this thing, like the thing that we are trying to implement it right now, and the action that I'm going to showcase you right now, it's not a stable action. Even when I was doing the proof of concept for that and creating some content around that at that time as well, like I was not getting the consistent result every time. So when I'm performing this action right now on live with you, I'm not sure whether I'm getting the 100% accurate result or not, because still it is in preview. Okay, but let's just learn that action first, and then probably we can go into too much into detail and implement that entire approval flow for ourselves. Okay, so first of all, let me just show you the simple. Let's explore that action theoretically first. Okay, and I'm going to explain you this action both the way side by side as well, because that action is completely new for agent flow only. But in existing Power Automate, there is an alternate way of doing that. Okay, so right now what, let me do one thing. Let me create one manual trigger flow at this point inside my agent flow. So I'm just having this manual trigger agent flow. Okay, now I'm just clicking on new action, and this is the action which is fairly new, which is advance approval. This advance approval was not there into Power Automate at this point. Okay, let's go there and click on advance approval. Now, when you click on the advance approval, it is providing you this type of interface to set up your entire approval process by your own. Okay, now what is the logic behind that? Let me just tell you. Now, over here, they come up with some sort of multi-stage approval scenarios situation. Okay. Now, if you want to do any kind of approval over here, you can simply clicking on set up the approval. And when you click on that, it will open up the another native interface like this over here. Okay. Current Power Automate doesn't has that kind of functionality. Now, multi-step approval means, let's say for an example, you want to go to next step only if it is approved, or let's say you want to go to next step, or you want to skip some step, or you want to add some condition, or you want to remove some condition, how you can do that thing. Okay, so over here, this is multi-stage approval. Okay, this is its interface and this is the UI for it. Okay, now here on the left side you can add your different stages, that how many stages you want to have, and for that stage what kind of approval you want, that's something you can configure on the right side. So this is right side and this is the left side. Okay, here you can add multiple stage depending on your need. So let's say here I need level 1 approval, so I just make it like L1 approval. Okay, then let's say I need second approval. I can just simply add a new action over here and click on add stage, and I can make it like L2 approval. Okay, you can make it within one action itself. So L1 and L2 approvals are there. Okay, now let's say I'm selecting my first condition L1 approval, and here there is approval type. Okay, and in approval type currently you are able to see only two options: approve reject first to respond, and approve reject everyone must approve. This is inspired exactly same like your Power Automate approval action, guys. If you recall, let me just do a quick revision around that as well. So on the other hand, this is my Power Automate. Okay, and right now in the Power Automate, if you search for your approval action over here, this is like a more flexible action. Start and wait for an approval, or any approval action if you use. Here there are this type of options available. Okay, and when you look at this, here we are having these options. Okay, it is exact same option, same you were doing in your traditional approval mechanism. Approve reject first to response means no matter whether your approver is approving or rejecting, whoever is approving first, that response will be captured. Okay, and everyone must approve means anyone is rejecting, at the time it will not execute any of your next step. Simple. In the Power Automate world and normal approval action, not advanced approval action, there are more such flexibility that you can use your own custom responses as well. Okay, but here it's not there. Currently, this functionality, this advanced approval provide only two option as a approval type to you, not like more option like Power Automate. Okay, so I'm just coming back here, and now let's configure it out. So level 1 approval, let's say I want that first to respond, whoever is responding first, it should go to the next step. Same like approval, you just need to configure your stuff, that what you want to supply over here, whether you want to provide any kind of title over here, or what kind of title you want. So let's say I'm providing here like L1 approval. Okay, and to whom you want to assign. So let's say here I'm just typing here like I want to assign this request to Dhruvin. So I'm just providing his name over here, and this request is assigned to him. And any details if you want to print here, that okay, this is my Copilot Studio batch 23. Okay, I'm just providing this detail over here. All right, that's it. So this is how you can configure it out. And same way for L2 approval, what you want. You want everyone must approve or first to respond, it's totally up to you. So I'm selecting here first to respond. And again, I'm just providing here the title as L2 approval. And maybe I will just type over here that, okay, assigned to would be who is the person, like contact person. My another email address I'm just supplying over here. And I'm just providing here a Copilot Studio level 2 batch 23. Okay, I'm just providing this thing over here. All right. And now let me save this thing out. Okay. Then I will come back here to explain you some more thing. But let me tell you, when you save it and when you execute it for your testing purpose, currently in today's date, it is taking 10 minutes to execute this action or 10 minutes to get some reflection from this action. So just to save time, uh, what I'm doing is I'm just clicking on save button and we will test it out. Meantime, I will explain you the other features of this action. So at least that trigger will happen and at least you will be able to see the result. Otherwise, many times it's just getting failed. And as I said, like its behavior is anonymous right now because it's a preview action at this point. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm simply clicking on save at this point and saving this approval action. So this is my advanced approval action, and let's click on publish button over here. Let's publish this flow first. In meantime, what I'm doing here is I'm just opening my mailbox as well. Okay, mailbox is open, and now let me just go here. So this is what we published, and you can see here this message, right? Your agent flow was published. Flow run consume the capacity based on the number of action used, but test run won't consume anything. So as I said, like this is agent flow, so it will consume your capacity, but during the testing, it will not consume anything. That's what it's saying. Okay. And the biggest limitation of this agent flow is, let me tell you one more thing. By default, there is no option to change the name of your flow. So always what you need to do, go to the overview section and go to the edit option over here, and then you can change the name. So I'm just adding like theory advanced approval. Okay, click on save. So that's how the name will be changed. And again, it is taking some moment to reflect this thing. Again, we need to republish the change. Okay, and now we will test this out. Okay, because as I said, testing will take some time. So I'm just doing manual testing at this point because it's my manual agent flow. So I'm just triggering this out, and let's see this approval action is triggering or not. Okay, click on run flow, and this should start triggering now. Okay, and you can always look at this thing out into the overview section over here. That same like your flow run, it will start make the running for the test. Okay, now let's wait for 10 minutes, but meantime let's explore the other functionality of this feature. Okay, so this is where we added the advanced approval. Okay, now here it provides you much more functionality. Like sometimes you have a need that, okay, you want to do the dynamic configuration over here, that, okay, you don't want the static assigned to person, you want that coming out from some other part, or maybe it should be coming from your database, or let's say for an example in detail you want to write out some parameters, so you need some value from your previous action of the flow. Then how you can do that? That's number one thing. And second thing is that you want to apply some condition that, okay, L2 should happen only if L1 is approved, or maybe if you want to add some more enhanced condition, how you can do that. Okay, so let's see that. So at this point, whenever you are having multi-step approval like this way, okay, right now there is no functionality that you can add the parallel approval. So always sequential approvals are supported at this point. Okay, now let's say for an example, I am here and in between that I want to add any condition that okay, if my amount is second approval is only required if amount is greater than $10,000, then you can use this condition option. And once you add the condition, it will show you this kind of interface. It's again mainly low code interface where you can apply condition that okay, what you want to define that let's say for an example amount is greater than 10,000, then only it should go to level 2. Then you can apply like this, add a condition. Here it is providing you the option to take an input from your flow. So what type of input you want? I want an input of number. What is my PO amount? So I can just mention any name of my variable kind of thing. Okay, PO amount and add an input. So what happened here is here it just create that PO amount variable for you. Okay, so that PO amount is coming out from this particular action. If PO amount is greater than 10,000, okay, then what you want to do? Then it provide you couple of options. Number one option is continue, which means that continue for the next step. Or if you are having multi-step and you want to go to the specific step, then you can apply this one. Go to L2 approval. So let's say I'm providing here that, okay, if my PO amount is greater than 10,000, then I'm just going to L2 approval part. Okay. Otherwise, let's say if I'm having another one as well called L3 approval. Okay, then it will provide me that functionality as well that okay, if greater than 10,000, then you want to skip this step and directly want to go to this step, what you want to do, it providing you that entire capability for you. Again, like if I'm just comparing this out, I'm not like still convincing myself to utilize this particular feature because they provided this ready-made thing. I'm agreed that maybe in the future it come up with some amazing thing. But if I'm using my normal Power Automate as well and I'm using just a classic action, right? Even at the time I'm able to do everything. It's just a matter that I just need to write if and else condition and that's it. I can write another approval action. But here only thing is that you don't need to write multiple approval action. It's come up as like, okay, ready-madely they are providing this kind of functionality where you can, again, it's more low code friendly. So if you're not comfortable more and more with the complex condition and if you have a straightforward requirement, probably at that time you can simply consume this particular action for yourself. So here I'm just saying that okay, I don't have only two level approval. So here what I'm doing here is if it is 10,000, then definitely it need to go to the second level approval. Otherwise what I want to do is less than 10,000, then I just want to end this approval process. So I will simply select that end this approval as approved because of course, like if it is less than 10,000 and L1 has already approved, then I just want to come out of this. So I will say that and approved as approved. Okay, so we just want to come out of this. Okay, you can add multiple statement as well if you want. So let's say and you can group by as well if you want, and or maybe if you have like PO amount is greater than 10 and it is high priority, then only I want to do this, you can do that as well. So maybe at the time what you can do is you can just select the string value and maybe create one more variable called priority. And you can just mention that okay, if priority is equal to high, then only it should go to this, otherwise it should end up the things. You can add as much step as you if you want. Okay, and click on save at the end. Okay, so as soon as you save this thing over here, what would be happen as a next thing is it will add those two variable parameter for you here. And now from this flow you can supply this value somehow over here, that what would be the amount and what would be the priority of your stuff. Okay, so that's something you can always configure from here. So let's say I'm supplying right now hard coded that okay, my price is 15,000 and priority is high. So it will pass these two values to your approval process over there. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Now what level of customization you can do it, you have seen that, right? But where it is missing or lacking of, let me tell you. Now sometimes you have a scenario that okay, L1 person, I mean this is my L1 approver, okay, and now I want some condition over here in this fashion that okay, if my L1, what is the result for L1, whether it's a rejection or whether it's the approval. Currently, it's not customizable because even here you can see that first to respond that we use and approval type is predefined. So there is only two case, approve or reject. So in this situation, this flow works fine because there are only two combination. But in real business need, that is not sufficient sometimes because they are having multiple things like approve, reject, or maybe cancel, or maybe send back to the user. That kind of functionality, right? So currently this advanced approval is not able to handle such cases. It only work on only approve and reject. No such third case you can introduce over here. Okay. Now again, on what other functionality is missing here is currently you can only able to add this kind of basic condition, right? Now I want to do some more advanced thing like, okay, if L1 has done certain thing and immediately I want to update my SharePoint list somehow. There is no such option here right now that I can connect my SharePoint list directly here. Okay, that is also lacking off because it provide only two options to you at this point, like stage and condition. So again, like simple scenarios, still you can rely on this advanced option, but for complex scenario, complex business use case, still at this point of time, it's not too much relevant at this point. Okay, so this is what it is. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just saying that, okay, whether I'm getting email or not. So yes, my flow is triggered that we just started. Okay, and you can see this kind of notification I can see as a part of my advance approval. So when advance approval is triggered, this is what the email notification looks like. And see, this is what we added in our message that Copilot Studio Batch 23, and it is sending it to Dhruvin for an approval. Okay, now at the same time, I received the same notification in my Teams as well. So if you look at my Teams over here, I received this notification, and from the Teams interface as well, I can able to approve it out. Same like, you know, your classic approval, how you were doing, same exact fashion, you will be able to do this activity as well. You can either do it from your Teams, or you can do it from your Outlook, or you can do it from your Flow portal. Any way is fine. Okay, now label one is done. Now let's see if I'm approving it. Okay, then only it will go to the next stage. If I'm saying that, okay, rejection, then it will stop at that point. So let me do approve. And at the same time, let me open up my another mailbox that I'm having over here. Okay, so let me just open up my contact mailbox over here. So what I'm doing here is I'm just providing my contact mailbox. I'm just opening this out. Currently, I don't have any such messages at this point. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I'm simply clicking on submit, and as soon as I do this thing, immediately, because it's a sequential approval, so it will send it only first approval is finished, it is sending to the second person. So now probably I should receive this email soon, and here I see I just received this thing as an L2 approval as a contact account, and from here I can just make it approve or reject. So let's say if I'm making that approve by contact, and as soon as you submit this thing out, your flow is finished. So I'm just finishing this up, and now I'm going to my agent flow to look at the run. So what I'm doing here is I'm just clicking on save draft at this point. Okay, I'm just going to the overview section, and I'm just checking the run whether it's successful or not. So currently you see almost it take 9 minutes, guys, right? It's an insignificant time. Generally, when you use the classic approval action with the Power Automate or classic approval, even with the agent flow, usually it's not even taking more than 30 seconds or 1 minute. And 9 minutes, it's seriously because it's still in the preview. That's why it's taking more time. And again, sometimes even you are getting some error at this point as well, like 501 that bad gateway or something like that, because this action still not stable or still in the preview. Okay, but at least in this class I'm able to showcase you this thing, so that's good thing, because I was not expecting this to be working as expected, but it worked, and this is how it looked like right now. So when you open the run, you can see the run, and this is what it ran. And if you want to see the output, same like Power Automate, you can explore it out over here, like your parameter. And again, here as well there are many limitations, guys. Okay, let me tell you this limitation. So when it come out of this loop, currently you are able to see only this parameters, right? Name, title, request date, completion time, outcome, and final outcome, right? Now, what is missing here? Let me tell you. The missing part is here I'm not able to see when Dhruvin has approved and when contact has approved. That part is still missing here because I want to capture that timestamp as well, that okay, when that person has approved. And comments are also missing. We added the comment in the both the situation, but I'm not able to get when I come out of this loop, I'm not able to get the comment that what user had entered over there at that time, right? So it's difficult to utilize this action at this point for the production purpose because of this particular limitation that I just talk about. Okay, but you can implement it. I mean, just for your learning purpose, because when it go into GA, of course, it come up with more feature and it will be having the better performance and better result. But this is what I'm just trying to explain, that this is coming as a new in the agent flow. Okay, now coming back to the use case, because currently we just did the basic theory at this point, okay, with the advanced approval. But now we just wanted to be really specific based on the use case that we are having at this point. So we have a use case where they are having model driven application or dataverse table, and from that dataverse table I wanted to make this whole approval thing to be happen, and I also want to find out the urgency of the problem. Okay, so how can we do this whole thing? Let's see step by step. So first of all, what I'm doing here is, let me show you the background work that I have done before this particular class. So I already, and again, that is a solution based Dataverse table. So you can download it from the file that I'm going to upload today, and simply import in your environment and the table structure will be ready for you. But just for everyone's understanding, let me just show you the structure of the table, that what the table looks like and how we are going to make the data entry for that. So this is one solution that I have, and inside that I have this table called medical equipment request table. Okay, and if I go to the column section over here, let me just filter it out by abbreviation PPT. And there I created some of the columns over here. Not all the columns we are actively using. We are mainly using this column. What is the amount of the request? Who is the person who is requesting this thing? What is the ticket ID for that, which is auto number column? Then reason for the purchase, why they want to purchase, and what the status of the request. Okay, this is what I need as a overall stuff. Okay, there are some more columns which is not, I'm not using it. It's just available in the table because this scenario I'm using somewhere else as well. Okay, but these are the main 5-6 columns we are using it. And now we want to test this thing out. Okay, so to test this thing out, what you can do is, this is your table. You can simply click on edit option over here if you want to create any new record, and click on this icon over here, and there is an option new row using form. So it will open up this kind of model driven interface for you, where I already, when you import this package, you already have that form with you as a front end if you just want to test it out. So we have couple of columns over here: employee name, amount, reason to purchase, urgency, and request status. Okay, now as soon as this record is created into the system, I want to call my agent flow. So what I'll do here is, I'm just going and start creating my fresh agent flow over here for myself. So let's click on new agent flow, and what would be my trigger at this point? My Dataverse table. So I will select Microsoft Dataverse over here, and I will simply choose a trigger when a row is added or modified or deleted. This is the trigger, same like your Power Automate. The trigger will work. Set up the connection for your trigger. So I'm just providing like Dataverse trigger. And authentication, I just want to use my OAuth2 authentication. Simply sign in, and I'm just signing in with my account, and let's set up the allow access. If you haven't created any Dataverse connection in the environment, probably at the time it will show you. Many times it will prompt, sometimes it's not prompt. Okay, and here you just need to provide that, okay, when you want to trigger this flow. I want to trigger this flow when someone is adding the item. So I'm choosing the change type as added. Then next, I need to provide the name of the table, that what table you want to choose when your flow is getting triggered. So here it will display all the table name. And what is the name of my table over here? So specifically my table name is medical equipment request. So I just need to search for that table, medical equipment result, and I just find this table name over here. So let's just supply this out, my table name. Next, we need to supply the scope. Scope again works same like Power Automate, that what level of scope you want to supply here, like whether you want to run it. Again, it's a Dataverse security concept that you want to consider all the record, or you want to consider only record where your business unit falls in, or you want to consider as a parent, child, or user. It's totally up to you. In most of the cases, we are only choosing organization because this is a generic flow. We are targeting all the records for that thing. So we'll simply select the organization over here as a scope. Okay, pretty much it. We added our trigger. That's fine. And now we want to do couple of things here. Number one, we want to identify the context first. That based on the description, I want to decide that what would be the priority, whether it's a high priority, medium priority, or low priority. Okay, so what I'm doing here is to save this thing, I'm just adding one compose action in my agent flow, and I'm just making here like hello, and let me just save this flow first. So I'm just clicking on save flow, and now I want to identify the context that okay, what would be the urgency of this particular request, or what would be the priority to execute this request. And that is something I want to do more based on the natural language. Okay, so in yesterday's class we learned the concept of prompting into Copilot Studio. We can utilize the exact same concept, because what happened here is when you go to the Copilot and you utilize this AI action, there is an option available, run a prompt. So if you are already having any existing prompt that you created earlier, you have that option to run the prompt. Click on add new. You can just provide like any connection name, prompt connection. Click on sign in. Click on allow access. And basically it will show you all the prompt that you have created in the environment. It will show you the out of the box prompt plus any custom prompt that you have built. Every prompt will be available over here. Okay, so what we are doing right now is I can create the prompt directly from here as well, like new custom prompt. And when you click on that, it will open the same prompt box that we have explored in the previous class. Okay, and if you just don't want to use it, and if you are already having the existing one, you can do that as well. Okay, it's totally up to you that how you wanna manage this thing out for yourself. Okay, but what I'm doing here is generally my best practices here is like not directly creating here, because I know some limitations at this point, that when you open this box, now what happen here is if you want to edit this again, or if you want to change something here with this interface, it's little bit difficult. So what you can do is simply come out of the flow and go to the tool option over here. So I'm just clicking on save draft at this point and going to the tool option over here underneath Copilot Studio. And last time as well, we learned this concept. There are multiple ways to create a tool. You can create it within the agent, or if you click on new tool and clicking on prompt, you can do it into this fashion as well. So I'm just using this option over here, and let's provide this thing over here like analyze. I'm just providing that prompt over here like analyze priority of the purchase. Okay, and now here you can provide your own custom prompt. So this time we will use this because now we know how to write a prompt. So this time I'm using the ready-made prompt. So what I'll do here is I'll tell my Copilot to create a prompt for me. So I'm just telling that I want to analyze the priority of the medical equipment purchase based on the reason. I'm getting from my medical staff. I want to categorize into high, medium, or low priority. Understand the medical context and make a decision. And I'm just providing some more line over here, like I need final result only in one word. Okay, and now hit enter. And as soon as you do hit enter, it will draft a prompt for you. Let it to be. So it has created this whole prompt for me, and it created this for me. Let's read this. You are tasked with an analyzing of priority level of medical equipment purchases based on the reason provided by the medical staff. Your goal is to categorize each request into 3 priority level, high, medium, or low. Carefully read and understand the reason given by the equipment. Consider the medical context in urgency. Categorize the priority of the equipment based on the following: high, medium, low. High is equipment is urgently needed for the critical patient care and essential medical requirement. Equipment is important but not immediately critical. And the last one is optional and non-urgent need. Okay, provide only the final priority, and yes, it just gave me the perfect result over here. Okay, and it created the input parameter as well automatically for me. So I'm just making like keep it. I need this perfect. And now here you can just taste this thing out temporarily. So I'm just providing some reason over here right now that okay, I need urgent. I need urgent ventilator. Urgent 50 ventilators because COVID cases are increasing in my ward. Okay, and now you can simply clicking on taste button over here and let's see what it come up with. So it come up with high priority. Okay, now let me change the context over here a little bit, that we need some glucose bottle to be ordered in advance for the stocking purpose. Let's see how it will consider this one. Clicking on taste, and it say that medium, it's not too much urgent. Okay, it's important but not too much urgent. Perfect, looks good to me. Now I'm simply clicking on save and create the prompt over here, and then we will call this prompt from our agent flow. Save this thing out over here. And now you just need to provide why this thing is being useful. So analyze priority of the purchase for the medical equipment. That's what I want to add. I don't want to add any agent at this point because it's just a normal flow. So I'm simply clicking on cancel. And at least this is available for me now. Analyze the priority of the purchase. My prompt is ready now. Okay, now simply is I already created the agent flow. So let's go to the agent flow section. And this is where we started. I saved my flow 5 minutes back here. Go to the designer. And this is where we start run a prompt, right? And in run prompt, now this should be available. Analyze the priority of the purchase. Let's supply this thing out over here. And as soon as you select it, here you need to provide the reason because that's something you need to pass. And already Dataverse has stored that reason. So I can simply supply over here, purchase, reason for purchase. Let's apply that. And let's see what result it come up with me. Okay, so I can just go to the next action, compose. And instead of this, I just print what I'm getting as an output over here. So run a prompt will give you the result in form of a response. So I'm just providing over here like a whole body response over here, that what I'm getting as a result. Okay, and now let's save this draft. And now let's publish this out. Okay, and now what can I do? I can just go to the overview section, and now I can just rename my flow a little bit. Let's go to edit and let's rename this as uh, medical equipment purchase. Click on save. And this is gonna save my flow. Let's go to the designer option. And now let's test up to this point. So I'm just manually testing it. And at this point, what I'll do, oh, okay, I just need to publish it before I test it. Okay, so let's go here, go to the designer again, make sure you publish. Okay, and then click on test, manually test. And now let's create the Dataverse table item. So I'm just going to this form and let me just provide the content over here, like proven amount. Let's intentionally, I'm just providing over here like 50,000 amount. Okay, and reason for purchase, I'm just providing over here like we need 200 ventilators as COVID cases are significantly increased in my ward. And now let's click on save and close. No matter any other parameter you want to set it or not, click on save and close. Closing this out, and probably now this agent flow should trigger. Same like your Power Automate, because trigger is when a record is created into Dataverse table. So probably this should trigger now. Still didn't trigger. Let's see. You can always check into this fashion as well. Maybe if not, maybe you can just go to the overview section, still see no run. Let's wait. This shouldn't take this long. Ideally, it should trigger it immediately, but let me see if I did any mistake over here or not. Ideally, this shouldn't take this long time. Let's see. Let's check the trigger. Okay, let's see what I have added in my trigger. When a row is added, modified or deleted, added, that is correct. I don't want to do any other change. Medical equipment requests, I'm just using the same table to enter the data. Organization, I think it should, but it didn't. In the right environment, my table is also in the right environment. I'm not able to see any entry over here. Just a minute, let me re-add the entry over here. Maybe something is really wrong. Click on new row using the form. The record is not created, that's the case. Let me add again Raj with the amount of 50,000. Reason for object, urgent, ventilator required as COVID cases are increasing. I'm just clicking on save. I'll make sure the record is available here first. Yes, it is available now. Let's see if it is triggering here now. I'm just refreshing my screen again. Maybe I created entry somewhere else rather than here, but let's make sure it's proper. Yes, it triggered. See, and what it did now, let's see that. Go to the activity. It just go here. It run as a prompt and it gave me this whole output. It tried to identify the context and it is just giving me the priority at the end, that what would be your result. So if you go to the compose, you are able to see here your result, like it's a high priority, the text result. Okay, that is something you are getting, and that prompt is also executed successfully. Okay, so now I just need this particular high priority as a result from here. That's pretty much it. And now what I'll do here is I'm simply going to this one, and now let's just add another action. And maybe if you just want to try this out over here, like what will be the final text, you can print into this fashion as well. So here it will print the text for you. And now let me just taste up to this point. I will use the previous run that we just triggered and see if I'm getting the proper priority over here. Publish and taste. Clicked on taste button. It ran successfully, and in compose, I can see final result at high priority. Perfect, looks good. Now I will apply one more additional condition over here, which is my approval with the parameter. So again, we will use this advanced approval action and we'll set up the approval parameters. First step, label 1. Second step, label 2. And I also want in between the condition, if my PO amount is greater than 5,000, then only go to the level 2. Otherwise, approved. And for level 1, I would say first to respond. And I can provide a title, approval required for level 1. And here as well, maybe let's say if you want some more stuff from your previous action, you can always use slash, backslash. Okay, as soon as you start making backslash, you can create your dynamic variable. So here I want to provide like, okay, for which ticket we want this approval. So you can do this one and just provide like, okay, you need ticket number here. So dynamically ticket number, which is coming from the previous flow action. So I just provide like ticket number. It become your input. Okay, to whom you want to assign. Maybe that is also something which you want dynamically. Then what you can do here is you can simply select over here like show guest. or maybe if you just want to use dynamic content, and in dynamic content use the slash and then create a variable for it, string variable, and provide like L1 email address, apply into this fashion. Perfect. So that value will be dynamically assigned over here. Details, let's say if you want to print out some sort of message or anything, use slash. Let's provide some string message which is coming as an input from the previous step. Perfect. I don't want to do anything else. Looks good. So this is another key thing. Like if you want any input, use slash. And then you can create any type of variable like string, boolean, or one more type is there. We will see that. Okay. And here as well, I'm just making first to respond. And here I'll just make label to approval required. You can just use slash, boolean, number, or string, any type. I will just provide over here. Like again, when you start typing, you can select it from your existing one as well. So ticket number we already created. So I'm just providing ticket number here. Assign to, let's make it dynamic content, and then use slash, and then again provide one more string over here, that L2 approver. Details, I would just like to use the same one. So I will use slash, and already message content is there. I supply that over here. Okay, and click on save. And then I can write a final condition over here. And again, it asks for so many parameters to me now. PO amount, let's supply it from our Dataverse. So that amount I can supply from my Dataverse. Ticket number also, I get it from my ticket ID, supplied from Dataverse, because that is the trigger. From there I'm already getting. L1 email address, I'm just passing at this point statically. But if you are storing somehow in your Dataverse, you can capture it from there as well. I'm just providing my email address. Message, I would like to have here like a ticket number. With that, I also want to print reason to purchase. Perfect. And L2 approval, I want to provide my contact email address. Okay, perfect. And now what I want here is I want to write a final condition. Condition. If it is advance approval give you so much value outside from that. So what would be your final outcome? So if your final outcome is equal to approve, then what you want to do, you want to update your Dataverse table status. Then I will use update item. Update row. You'll provide the name of the table, which is equipment, medical equipment request. Row ID is the same name like your table name, which is medical equipment request, which you find from your Dataverse section, which is GUID column. And over there, show all, and there is a column called status. So request status, let's make it like approved. Okay. Otherwise, in the false condition, let's me check one more time, because here with the final outcome, you will not know whether it's the approve. I mean, if it is rejected, right? I mean, first person rejected, then it will never go to the next part, and just do it into that particular fashion. So I'll just do the same action over here as well. So over there, let's add a Dataverse action and update a row. And again, it's not necessary that you need to always use advanced. I mean, basic one is also very nice. You can use this as that as well. But just as I said, like I want to explain you this functionality. That's why I take this as intentionally this example. Okay. So here you can again just provide the same table name, equipment purchase. employee name. I don't want to provide a request status. I want to make it as a rejected. Perfect. Looks good. Let's save this draft and publish this change. Okay, and now let's taste one more time. Probably we will not be able to taste entire thing. The reason why I'm saying is now we have added this condition, right? Advance approval. So it will take around next 10 minutes to execute this thing. Okay, so it will stop at this point, but meantime we will learn something different and we'll check again. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm creating one more entry right now. New request. And this time I just provide the name with Swara and I just provide like 90,000 and we need to purchase urgently the fever and cancer injection. We are out of stock and patient numbers are increasing due to monsoon season. Okay, I'm just urgency. Hi, I'm just clicking on save and probably this flow should trigger now. Meantime, let me check if my record is created properly here. Yes, second record is also created. It started triggering. See, now we will just wait it. Okay, because already up to this point it ran, and as I said, it is taking around 10 minutes in order to finish this whole execution. Okay, so we'll park that. Meantime, let's discuss one more point over here. Now, this advance approval action also has certain set of limitations. Okay, let's talk about that. What limitation? Many limitations I already spoke, but officially Microsoft has its own limitation as well. So let me just open that up. So this is the official link. At this point, what limitations we are having? Let's talk about that. Okay, so the number one limitation is that the user should be part of the same environment. So which means that the complete approval request should be happen from the within the same environment itself. So if you are having cross environment approval requirement, this will not fit into your stuff. Okay, then another thing is that to add the input or stages or condition, you need to enter the variable name. Okay, and variable names at this point doesn't allow any kind of special character. So if you are having in your variable name any kind of special character kind of requirement, you will not be able to make it happen. Okay, and input name should be unique. It should not be duplicate. That's also you need to consider in your mind. Okay, another biggest limitation is you can't assign the same approver to the different stages. This is the biggest limitation I can say. Why? Let me tell you. Let's say for an example, sometimes you have a scenario where in level 1, you require Dhruvin as an approver. Okay, because Dhruvin has that role. In second level, you want like another person, like let's say Alicia as an approval. Okay, so she is second level approval. Now let's say in third level, I want Dhruvin as an approval again because I mean the person has the multiple role and he need multiple time. He wanted to approve in the both the stages. If you have this kind of scenario, you can't be able to solve it with this problem because right now this action has a limitation that each particular approval stage that you are adding, it should have the unique set of people for the approval. You can't set the same person for an approval again and again. Okay, so that's another thing. All right. Also, currently switch conditions are not supported. We have seen that only if else are there, right? Approval stages with the custom responses are not supported. That is also we have seen, because normal approval actions are supporting more stuff like approve, reject, or maybe if you are having some more buttons, it supports all those, but it's not. Attachments are also not supported, which means that in approval you want to send any attachments, you are not able to do that. And last, ALM capability is also not there. So ALM means you can't export and import that particular advanced approval action with the flow. So what you need to do is, if you are moving your flow with this kind of action, you need to manually configure it out in your production environment. With ALM package or with the solution deployment, it is not supporting. Okay. And at last, sharing is also not supported, meaning that if you share the flow which has the human in loop connector, which means this connector, the recipient will need to recreate the approval in the approval after sharing the flow. Okay, so when you are having this particular action, you cannot share. ALM not supported. You can't use the file attachments into that. Okay, these are all the limitations you need to think about in the mind, because this is fairly new feature, and clearly they articulate this as a preview feature, and this is recently come in the month of May. So probably in the future you will be having the lesser limitations and maybe more power with this particular action. Like they are planning to have the sequential and parallel together, every kind of approval within that. So let's see, hopefully in the future they come up with something, but this is what it is at this point. Okay. So this is all about the approval action and agent flow concept inside the world of Power Automate. I would like to take here, while this flow is still running, uh, see it's failed at this point. See, after 1 minute itself, it's getting failed, and it is showing that bad gateway. I only suspect one thing. This is happening multiple times with me. Okay, I have observed. This is my observation. When we are trying to add more complex conditions over here, at the time it's showing us this kind of error. This is my observation. And let me just tell you, maybe if somehow I supply this thing statically, let me try this. I'm not even sure, because for me this is a problem. Like whenever I was doing the POC itself, it is inconsistent result. Sometimes you are getting, sometimes you are not getting. So it's not totally in a control of you, basically. Okay, let me just try this one thing. Maybe I'm just thinking this approval can creating a problem, but maybe we can make sure like it should work fine. Let me save this now. I just hard coded this right now. Okay, not passing like a dynamic fashion. Okay, and over here, like it's saying that at the rates and special characters are not. Maybe let me just do this, because ultimately we are not using these parameters anyway. Okay, let me just do this thing, publish this thing out, and let me just try this one more time over here. The limitation is not with the value, the limitation is with the how we are providing the name of the variable. So I don't think so this might be, but let's just try it out, because I have faced a similar challenge with me as well. Like uh, in certain environment and certain situations it's running successfully, certain times it's not. Even after 10 minutes it's getting failed. Okay, but it's just a case. Let's observe, let's wait. If it works, it's fine, otherwise not. But results I have shown you already with theory. Like we created, and at least one time it ran successfully, but currently still it's not accurate to do it in a proper test case fashion. Okay, so let's see what it will do here. Meantime, we'll go with the other things, but I would like to pause here for a moment. Like anyone else has any other question with respect to agent flow or any specific action you want me to talk about, or things, I'm happy to cover up. So the stage is open now for Q&A. If anyone has any question, just raise up your hand and ask. Otherwise, we are good to go with the next part of the session. Okay, so I don't see any more raised hand, so looks good to me. Okay, now just give me the reactions. At least this agent flow part, everyone is clear with me so far. Just give me certain set of reactions if everyone is good. So at least I know that you are following with me so far. I don't see any more reactions. Everyone is there. Okay. Okay. Looks good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So this is the um, all about agent flow, like which is newly introduced. And I say like, okay, if you know Power Automate agent flow is nothing new for you. It's the same thing. It's just a matter that so far whatever you did, it was an agent flow only, but you don't know that terminology. Now you know the terminology, licensing, and behind the scene logic around that. Okay. So now let's go and now let's try to explore new concept now. We'll just initiate this concept today, but in Friday's class, we will go into too much into detail that what I'm going to talk about as a next part over here. Let me just give you some sort of glimpses around that. Okay. So next topic is again very interesting one, and personally one of my favorite topic, and that is something which is going to open or maybe open the next door for the AI, which is which called as a concept called MCP. Okay, MCP server. The name called as MCP. Now this terminology this year itself we have used multiple times. Okay, so MCP. What do we mean by MCP? It is Model Context Protocol. Okay. Now, what is Model Context Protocol? Okay, if I try to explain you in a simple fashion, what's the real purpose of Model Context Protocol? Let me tell you, like currently right now we are having so much dependencies on so many things in the world of AI, right? Like let's say for an example, I'm using Copilot Studio at this point. Okay, so we know this product is only supporting right now GPT model, okay? But it doesn't support any custom model like DeepSeek model, or it doesn't support any kind of Gemini model. Okay, now sometimes we have a need where we are already having as a company our own custom model built in. Okay, it can be any model. It can be built on DeepSeek, or maybe it is built with any kind of custom coding with Python, okay, or anything. Now, what is the problem right now? The problem is cross-platform availability. Like, let's say for an example, currently I'm building the application in my Copilot Studio, right? So where I'm lacking is, let's say for an example, I have an Air India website, okay, Air India, or maybe let's say for an example, I'm having like a what's a Singapore Airlines website, okay. Now, let's say Singapore Airline has its own AI model behind the scene for managing different activity. Like they are managing the booking with their own model. They are managing the general knowledge or knowledge base somehow into their model. Okay. Or maybe they are having certain set of business rule which they have used to train their model. Okay. Now the biggest limitation is right now without MCP, until this MCP model was introduced, let's say if I want to consume anything from Singapore Airlines, there is only one way in Copilot Studio to consume it. Is let's say I just create a custom connector. I can call their API endpoint, and based on that API endpoint, I'm getting the information. Okay, that is the only option to use that as a custom connector. And that custom connector as well, I need to build it my own. Okay, I need to write out my own action. I need to write out the JSON payload and everything, right? Now, many companies are having a problem with this thing, like, okay, because there is no reusability of those things. Now, same way, this is non-Microsoft, right? Now, just imagine currently you have all your data into Dataverse. Okay, and now think as a customer, or maybe think as a third party, that let's say you are having a third party system and you are work in the Google platform. Okay, and in Google platform you build one another AI project and where you use the base Gemini model. Okay. And in that Gemini model, you somehow want to call the Dataverse data, right? What is the way? What is the flexibility over there? And which should support the general language or natural language or generative AI, right? There should be some common mechanism, two-way, right? For that, they come up with a concept of MCP, which means Model Context Protocol. Okay. In Model Context Protocol, of course, we will use custom connector. Okay. But it is a generalized acceptable protocol, which is not bound on any technology. Let's say in future you build something in your Copilot Studio and you want that to be available for your Google customer or for your SAP interface or any other third-party ERP. You can able to connect that out. Again, MCP building, as I said, like always, custom connector is again like API development is none of your job, right? But the consumption and you make that connection, it's of course your duty. Same way in MCP. MCP is a complex process. Those servers are requiring lots of AI knowledge to build because it's a code-based model. Okay, so MCP, just imagine it's like a protocol on the internet. Currently, how you are typing on your internet, http www.google.com, and when you search on Power Platform Trainings, it just open that site and make it available for you, right? Similarly, MCP is a protocol, common protocol for AI based model. So any other AI model, if you want to integrate in your system, you can configure simply MCP and that will make that happen. It's just like one endpoint you need to configure and all the available action for that MCP will be available ready-made for you. Okay, so different MCP servers are available on the internet, and this is entering a lots of opportunity for us as a developer to utilize other AI model, not just in the Microsoft space, but in non-Microsoft space as well. If you wanted to utilize those products, you can leverage it out. In Friday's class, we will go into too much into detail, but to just give you a glance, if you go to the tool section at this point, go there, add a tool, and there you are having an option MCP. And this is where we are going to start exploring this whole concept in the detail, that how MCP is working, how you can connect to your MCP server, what are the ready-made MCP servers are available. For MCP server, if you want to do fresh development, what are the ways to do it, what are the limitations around that. Again, these MCP are again like it's available, but still, I mean, results are not that amazing at this point of time, but capability is unlimited. And again, as I said, it's an open standard for connecting the agent to your data, designed with AI in mind. Similar like HTTP, MCP is another type of protocol to connect any AI model available on the world, which is hosted on some platform, which you can simply consume it and utilize that over here. So Copilot Studio now have that native capability to connect MCP server over here for yourself. Okay, so this is all about MCP server. This is what I just wanted to give you as a glance, that what we are gonna do in the next class. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I have it at least for today. I don't have any further topic. Let me see if we get the success on that calling of that flow yet or not. And we are good to wrap up the session afterwards. All right. Meantime, if anyone has any question with the concept that we learned so far, I mean, up to 11th class we finished. Maybe if you are having anything, maybe just feel free to bring up into it's failed. It didn't work even in this situation. So as I said, right, we are not able to somehow able to, it just keep giving us this information. And if you search even on the internet, you will not find any solution for that. And again, like it's done issue and we can't complain, or maybe support, Microsoft support is unable to provide it, because few days back when I was doing this POC, I raised the support ticket and support person said that it's in preview, so we can't support it, can be accepted behavior. That's what I get as a response from Microsoft on this particular thing. But without parameters, it's working fine. That's what my observation. But again, it's uneven. It's not like always in the same fashion. Okay, but maybe in the future when it become more stable, you can test it out in a better fashion. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I think we are good to wrap up. At least we are early, rather than late, like in the earlier sessions. Anyone has anything before we wrap up today's class? Any issues, anything? Otherwise, we are good to finish it up.
Thank you very much.
All right, perfect. All
Thank you,
good.
Dhruvin.
Thank you so
Yes,
much, everyone.
Dhruvin,
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
just need to understand one thing as we have some time over here. So, as you were telling in the classes that Copilot thing is now evolving and it is very new product. Hello?
yes, yes, I'm hearing.
Yeah, it is very new product. So, what my question is like, what will be the job scope in future? Will be right things will be catching up in near future, like 6 months, or
Not
it
in
will be
6
kind
months.
of a
Almost it will
combination.
take around one and 1.5 year. Not dedicated vacancy for Copilot Studio for sure. Not dedicated only related to this Copilot Studio. No, it will never. It will always be a combination vacancy, Power Platform, with a combination of SharePoint, Dataverse, any data source. What I am seeing as a future technology scope here is, here it is giving us some hint. MCP is a big scope over here. So in future, specifically if you really want to evolve into AI space, or maybe if you're targeting the next position as AI architect, or maybe AI solution, or maybe AI associate, at the time this MCP server is evolving. It's not into Microsoft space, it's in non-Microsoft space, but it is good if we start learning that particular part, because it requires some sort of C# knowledge to build your own MCP server. So maybe that demand will be more in the future, the core demand for building those MCP servers. Maybe that I can see as a more scope. Specifically into the AI space, I'm not targeting any Microsoft space, specifically Copilot. It's
Hmm.
more
Hmm.
generic technology. It will definitely be evolving. Already, I have seen many people who are more into AI space, uh, they have started building this up. But low code people, like personally me, I started learning this out, but I personally face right now so much difficulty into that because of lack of resources, as well as maybe some terminology, some languages which I don't know, and I'm relying more on the Copilot, and I'm more relying on the GitHub and copy paste code content. So I'm upskilling myself right now with that position ready in the future, AI architect position, where I can be able to do it with my own models, my own thing. And in future, how I'm looking this product is, they will come up with this kind of position like AI associate, in which they are expecting every tool knowledge, not just Copilot Studio, but you should have knowledge of your Copilot Studio, you should have knowledge of AI Foundry, you should have knowledge of Azure AI space, you should have knowledge of this whole integration space, because this Copilot Studio in the future will be evolving in the fashion low code plus more pro code, like how it we are having Power Apps right now, right? 6 years back, Power Apps was not able to do that great magic how we are doing right now, right? So with those permutation and combination, the roles will be evolving, and futuristically, like just a normal app development, and those roles are definitely going to be outdated in the market. So uh, we just need to keep our pace with the AI. Like with AI, if you will be, it will be good. Yesterday's news, I think 2 days back, right? TCS fired 12,000 people. To already recession process has been started uh, globally as well as India base as well. Many roles are going to be deprecated. L1 support role, no one will be in the future for sure, 100%. So if you are on the support part, please change your career path. Support is not the future. If you are on the role where you are just resolving the issue and you are not more into architectural role, you will be obsolete in the future for sure, because the way AI is evolving, it is giving all the answer automatically. So in future, I would say more architectural role, more AI based specific role, and more roles where actually require some sort of human involvement. Those will become more significant by 2030. I'm just thinking that whatever we are building right now, even what I'm teaching right now in my Power Apps class, it will become totally invalid, because those things AI will do for me. I mean, no one, I'm not sure at the time, maybe my course content will be a little bit different, that how to build with the AI. That would be the main focus rather than focusing on what is collection, what is, because still right now we are fortunate that AI is not able to do 100% by its own. But recently they released one more feature called vibe coding, and that just changed my vibe of looking at the AI because it's amazing and significant. So when that come up into picture, I'm not sure any of the developer job will, I mean, cut off. I mean, 20% will be there, but 70-80% will be deducted by 2027, 2028. Yeah.
So what's next? Like
Yeah, but I don't
MC
know.
no
MCP is
no
the, yeah.
no no see, I will tell about my thing, okay? So I was
Okay.
a support person for many years. From first 1.5 year, I've been into Power Platform support plus development. Okay. So in our project, we are having Power Automate, apps, and Copilot. These three things. BI is also not there. Pages is also not there as of now. So what two, three combination I should be ready with so that firstly I can get a switch in early part, like in like next 6 to 8 months. Secondly, what should I keep learning, as you just told about MCP and AI Foundry, something which is related to architectural role. So that path forward can we discuss at the last class if we have
Not
time?
in this one. I mean, this particular Copilot Studio, we are not focused on that much, but it's like combination would be like more technology which are niche. I would say future would be more on Power Pages plus Copilot plus your regular Power Platform you are doing. But next 6 to 12 months is still stable. I would say it's not going to suddenly change or suddenly shift, because that shift is going to take some time, because customers already heavily invested in the existing technology. So they are not going to change it drastically right now. So I can say like right now we are into 2025 up to 2026, and these all technologies will be still valid. Again, learning will still be there, like still people will do the power apps, still people will do the power automate, but 2027 onwards it will be more AI focused. So it will be like more senior developer position will be there into the market, and people will expect that okay, this power apps you will be create with the help of prompt. So you need to keep your eye on a thing which Microsoft is releasing with the features and all. So even I'm not sure like 2027, 2028 really we need power apps. I think AI will do the entire thing. I mean, at the time, the new generation will be agents. So you are creating more agents for you to do your own task. That concept will come up into picture, I believe, from 2027. And I would definitely recommend you please come out of from the support role. Support roles has no future. At least I am saying like 2028 after, no future for the support. These agents that we are building right now, and even GitHub Copilot is excellent. Even it can do lots of support activity by its own. So it's like, okay, if 10 support people will be there, only one will be there who will run the agent and do the task. Okay, so support role in the future no doesn't has any future I can see right now clearly.
Yeah, thank you, Dravin.
Yep. All right. Anyone else has any other thing?
So Dhruvin, you said one word, Power
Yeah,
Pages.
Power Pages. Yeah, that can definitely be. Um, I can literally see, because I have recently seen the vibe coding. If you are new into that, maybe many people have started creating a video around that as well. This is awesome, and this is totally blowing my mind now. And it is already started happening into model-driven apps. If you haven't looked at that episode from Reza Dorani, watch it out. It is doing amazing job. And now I'm just thinking that people who are on model driven and they have that power, that it's more pro code. Now it's become like, okay, just few prompt and you can do the model driven as well, fancy when I'm looking this concept. So earlier so far in the Microsoft space, the way AI was entering into the Power Platform says, I was still like, okay, it's it's slow. But when this vibe coding has introduced, I'm like, okay, it totally changed my direction of thinking. And now, I mean, I would definitely say people who are in this industry since long time, they are luckiest person, I would say, because for the new people like us right now, I'm in this industry since 10 years. I'm like, IT people now will retire earlier in their age rather than how they are working right now at 65, 70 years, right? Because of the same skill set and with their dominant on the technology. Now that dominant has been removed for sure. And of course, when you are more into architectural role or more into advanced role in your job, then you will be able to survive more in the industry. But otherwise, I would say like 15, 20 years max for a person to survive with people who are entering new. I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about the older one. So yeah, shifting a lot. It's scary sometimes too when we are thinking about it.
So when we are having Power Pages,
At least not this year because I'm not planning because this year is only 4 months left and already
hmm,
four programs are already planned out right now, and in between that this Diwali and whole things are coming up. So I'm not planning to do at least the Power Pages by this year at least. But and maybe when I come up with Power Pages, maybe it will be come up with a combination of the AI because AI will. I'm just waiting for few things that okay, if AI able to do something activity automatically, then I don't need to have that prerequisites that you should know JavaScript or you should know HTML, CSS because that part is handled by that particular part. So architectural part definitely we need to understand, but couple of things AI is able to do it. That Power BI is also become easy for local people.
and any link or anything if you can share about when the Power Pages are built up, how to host it. That's
It
the
is
place where,
automatically hosted. It's
yeah, it
automatically
hosted. No,
you
no, no,
want
it
to host
hosted
on a public domain? I
public.
mean,
Yes, 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 yes.
okay, it's fairly simple, nothing new. I'll share it with you. It's not
Thank you.
complicated. It's just a matter that you need to configure host over that. That's it.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. Anyone
And
else?
Dhruvin,
Yes.
why is it so that why is it so? Means like you are a trainer and also you are a learner, okay? So why is it so with my kind of people that when there is a live class we pay such good attention and understand the things, but you are giving so much good insights on the YouTube video also, but then also the focus is not there. I just want to understand the perspective about because you are on both sides, right? Learner side also and trainer
Yes.
side also.
So look, I am a person like I cannot say myself expert. Okay, people are saying me expert, but still as a person, I believe that I am also a learner because not everything MCP, right? Yesterday I attended 3 hours of workshop for Microsoft to learn MCP. I had a discussion with the product team to understand this product more into detail. So like it's something that just based on the articles we can't learn, and it's something that when we want to uh, go into nth level of detailing, we need to do lots of research around that as well. So it's something that we are living in an era like, if I stop learning myself, probably I will be outdated in next 6 months. Or probably if I stop making some content, maybe I feel, you know, stale in myself. So it's something that I always passionate about my content. So YouTube I'm doing because it's not something that everyone can afford my training programs. Everyone can do the things. Only thing is on YouTube, I have that liberty that whatever content I want to, there is no such bar that if I don't publish one video this month, no one is telling me that why I'm not publishing. It's in my hand. In training program, I need to be very specific in a structured way, and it's more like a based on the professional standard. YouTube, it's like, okay, I learned this concept today. I will teach everyone, or maybe if I know something better, I'll just share it with the people. So it's not like step by step, or it's not like planned. It's very random sometimes. So learner side, of course, we need to do. If I stop learning myself, maybe how can I survive in the industry for a more futuristic time? That's the reason. I mean, both the way. I mean, this is what I'm doing because from YouTube itself, like most of you connected me from the YouTube itself, and from there itself, I'm getting lots of. This is my company number. I'm getting every day around 50, 100 messages, and sometimes my my brother is sometimes replying so many messages. So we are getting lots of requests. Power Apps training, Canvas app training. It's a third training of the year, and recently we reach up to the 150, 200 inquiries we received from last 2 months on that, and it's just a matter that people are requesting and we are just having it. But this training company starting is also the same way. Like from the YouTube, I'm getting the request and we build this particular part. Otherwise, I was never into training domain because we have more consultation rather than just training. That's why I'm just having one training program, and maybe one program is repeated only once in a quarter, and probably very limited batches throughout the year. Only 11 batches I'm taking throughout the year, not more than that. So it's always like that.
Will you be doing Power Pages?
Hope it is
Need.
not this year for sure. Not this year, 100% I'm sure on that. But I'm thinking that if I'm not doing any Power Apps batch in future, maybe I'll do it. But I'm not sure at this point because now another shift I'm doing is model driven app, specifically in the month of September, because in model driven as well many things change from last to this time. So we are going to do this thing with some sort of AI and some sort of concept we are going to introduce there. So model driven canvas and Power Automate is the next path. Power Pages, I will still see that market is 20-30% market people still started using it, but not like drastically right now so
Yeah.
far. So I'm not
So I think
too.
so we are together for next 2 months coming on. I will be in the Power Apps which is also in model driven then also.
But I think
Uh,
Power Apps is still easy. Canvas app is still easy. It's not that
I'm
difficult.
not able to focus on your YouTube videos. I don't know why. But when in the
Okay.
class I am fine. That is the
Okay.
thing.
Okay. Some people has the opposite thing. Some people told me that they are focused more on the YouTube than live. But I personally, when I'm looking my own recording on live class, I'm feeling like I'm speaking very slow here compared to how I was speaking on the YouTube. Because on YouTube you can make any amendment. Here everything is live. I can't make any edit in between. It's the case.
Yeah.
Drovin,
Yes.
so your course on Power Apps, the one that you will be giving next month, is the one that I followed. It was the
Yes.
same, right?
Yes, it's same. It's same.
So I should go on the model driven, the next one then.
Yes, next one you can go. When model driven come, you can join. But Power is one you already attended. So
Okay.
it's the
Okay.
same one. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll
And
be
the
Power
following
Apps
the.
is, yeah.
and the
Otherwise,
YouTube series of the app, Canvas app is the same what you will be taking in the Power Apps classes, the coming
No,
classes.
no.
It's a different.
YouTube series are always different. In YouTube as well now, we have the premium membership where I'm launching the small courses because I'm not able to do everything live with the people. So this is what we introduced. We didn't promote it a lot right now, but this is what I'm just waiting on a couple of things to be happen first before I promote it more, but it's already available. People already started taking the membership, but let me show you.
And
So this
all the
is what we
mem
launch. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
And I'm asking all the members in the class to share the introduction of the things so that we can get a cross company openings
Yeah,
understanding, right?
earlier in earlier batches we were doing that. But somehow we didn't do for this batch. Maybe we'll do it in the end at the end maybe.
And the class,
So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So this is what we started now. Like currently we are having this one.
Yeah, this one only I'm asking. So
Yeah,
it is the
yeah,
same
this is different.
syllabus.
This is not in my syllabus even. This is like more advanced one. Responsive app is something every time when I'm doing Canvas app, batch, everyone is okay, sir, how to create responsive app. But responsive app require basic Power Apps knowledge first, then you can go
Okay.
for that. Because if you don't know even Power Apps on top of that, if you want to build responsiveness, it's not make sense. It's again like a 10-12 hours of curriculum, full curriculum. So I created one end-to-end app with this is member only video. So every video length is around 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 25 minutes. So it's more advanced topic which are not even part of my live training. And now next month we are launching ALM series over here under the same premium program. But I'm just waiting not to promote a lot right now, because right now I'm having like 50-60 members, so I don't have much pressure on that part. So I'm able to manage it out. But this is what I mean, short courses will be there, but end-to-end live programs are always be there, because YouTube is YouTube. It doesn't have the human touch. Ultimately, I'm recording, I'm just publishing, that's it. But when you are having the cross question, it doesn't have that feeling. So for that, live programs will always be there. But yeah, I'm just trying based on the feedback that I'm getting from the people. We are just creating short series and upload on the YouTube, because I can do it at any time when I'm free. That's the thing.
Okay,
Dhruvin,
Dhruvin,
Yes,
thank you.
just a quick check. I've put up a screenshot in the message. Have you
yes,
seen in Power App this error coming?
just a minute.
And this
This
error
error.
comes, yeah, and this error comes in both the cases, even in play mode and also in the debug mode.
It suddenly started happening. How many people are using this app?
No, I'm just talking about in development environment, and when it's in the same thing happens in production. A particular flow, particular clicks of buttons, and at a particular stage, this comes down, and you have to restart the whole app. Whether you're in a development, whether you are in development or whether in your play, and once you reload it, the functionality works.
This is
So
Canvas app, or is it?
Canvas app. So the situation is you are changing statuses, and at particular status, once you change, it throws this error, but you reload the app, data get loaded, and then you perform, the status get changed.
I didn't come up with this kind of
And I
issue.
can't,
Yeah.
I can't even debug it or anything.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
I try to Google it, nowhere I can find the
Any Power
solution.
Automate? Any Power Automate associated behind the scene?
Power Automate, yes, there is a flow attached to it.
Okay.
But
Maybe
that,
just do one thing. Try to remove your flow connection, and without flow connection, maybe just try one more time, because I suspect maybe.
I don't think so. The
Okay.
flow. Let me explore on that. I